Hello and welcome to the Baldwin Public Library Board meeting on Monday, July 15th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. in the Rotary Donor Room at Baldwin Library. The full board packet is available online at www.baldwinlib.org on the Friday preceding the meeting. This is an open meeting. All members of the public are invited to attend. Robert, could you please call the roll for tonight's meeting?
Karen Rock.
Here.
Danielle Rumpel.
Here.
Missy Mark.
Here.
Wendy Friedman.
Here.
Frank Paisano.
Here.
Jennifer Wheeler.
Here.
And via Zoom is our student representative, Kate Walter.
Thank you. Now could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please read the library's mission statement on page 1.
Baldwin Public Library's mission statement. The Baldwin Public Library in Birmingham, Michigan enriches lives by providing opportunities and resources for everyone to learn, connect, and discover.
Thank you. Our first order of business is the general public comment period. The Library Board values public meetings and welcomes your comments on library issues, but will not debate items not on the agenda. The board respectfully asks that comments be made as concisely as possible when a motion has been made or in the general public comment portion of the meeting. The maximum time for individual speakers should not exceed 3 minutes. Does any member of the public have any comments? Yes?
I'm Sarah. I work up in the Idea Lab. I just came by real quick. I just wanted to express I was a little disappointed in the last meeting when it was decided that staff members weren't allowed to wear pride pins. And I hope that it could be reopened at some point for discussion. It's just something that I feel should be included as part of like our inclusivity statement, and I think is important to the library. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your
Yeah.
comments.
Thank you.
Does any other member of the public have a comment? Okay. And the next order of business is the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and approved by a roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered as the last item under new business. First is the approval of June 24th, 2024 board meeting minutes. That was on page 7. Second was the approval of June 2024 vendor payments in the amount of $173,129.56, including payments in excess of $75,000, and that's on page 12. And third is the approval of total expenses in the amount of $422,811.74 on page 17. Is there any board member who wants to remove anything from the consent agenda? Is there any member of the public who wants to remove something from the consent agenda? Would any member of the board like to make a motion?
I'll move to consent agenda.
Second.
And Robert, could you please do a roll call vote?
Rock.
Yes.
Rumpel.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Paisano.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
All yeas.
Okay, thank you. Next is the board reports and special announcements. I just want to thank everybody who was involved in the renovation and in the opening on July 9th, especially Rebecca and Jacqueline for all you did. And also want to thank Robert for all the plantings and the gardening skills in the library outside. It looks very nice. Does any board member have a comment?
I echo your comments regarding the building and the Phase 3, how well it came out, and all your hard work and dedication to make it a successful project.
Next, staff anniversaries. Danielle, could you
Sure.
read the one?
Yeah, we have a special staff anniversary tonight. Director Rebecca Kraft reached 9 years of service on July 6th. Congratulations, Rebecca. Yay. Thank you to all of our staff. They're wonderful.
Next is upcoming events of interest. Jacqueline, if you could do that for us.
Sure thing. If you flip to page 86 of your board packet, you'll see a list that kind of crammed onto 2 pages. There's so much fun stuff happening at the library right now, everybody. Coming up tomorrow is Baffling Bill's Magic of Reading show. Baffling Bill and Gus the Bunny will be here to practice their hypnotism skills. So we'll see how that goes. We're doing a painted book edge program on Wednesday. They'll take old books and make the edges of them pretty again. So that's exciting. We have a double feature for Studio, I hope I'm saying this right, Studio Ghibli. I hope. Anyway, the teens will be enjoying fancy ramen, drinking green tea. They'll be watching 2 feature films from the studio. And the last I checked, there were only a couple of spots left. So if your teens are interested, now's your chance. On Saturday, we're celebrating International Chess Day with Check Us Out Chess from 3 to 5. All skill levels will be welcome. On Monday, we're offering baby playstations. This is a drop-in activity where you'll be able to move your little one around the room doing activities that highlight different developmental milestones. On Tuesday, July 23rd, Cookbook Club is back. We're excited to see this one, and the participants will be all making various recipes from Smitten Kitchen Keepers is the name of the cookbook, and then they're going to share them and try them all together. So if I'm not mistaken, Cookbook Club used to happen, and now it's back. So we're excited to see the return of this event. On Wednesday, the 24th, we're doing screen printing in the Idea Lab. On the 25th, just prior to the start of the actual Paris Olympics, we're running Chocolate Olympics here at the library for teens, so that'll be a good one. The Friends are holding their 4th Saturday sale on the 27th. We'll be doing DIY terrific tiles on the 30th. The participants in that will be able to create their own design on a tile coaster using Sharpies. We're offering our first adult Battle of the Books on August 1st. There are a few teams signed up already, so we're excited to see how this goes. And I know that the librarians who are planning it are excited to see how well they read these 5 books. So we're excited to run this program for a different age group than normal. Nerf Wars will be happening on August 2nd to help us wrap up the teen summer reading program. On August 7th, participants will be bringing in their stuffed animals for a story time, a special story time, and then they'll be leaving those stuffed animals behind to have an overnight adventure at the library. When they pick them up, they'll be able to access a file of photographs of all of the stuffed animal adventures in the library after closing. So that's always a fun one. We're doing an author talk with Rod Sadler. This is on the book Grim Paradise, The Cold Case Search for the Mackinac Island Killer. And then on the 14th, we're doing a class in the Idea Lab, Down with the Thickness. We're doing cutting thicker materials on the laser. This was just a smattering of the things that were happening in the 4 weeks between now and our next meeting. So I encourage you to take a look at the calendar at baldwinlib.org for these and other exciting events.
Great. Thank you. That's a lot going on. Next are board committee reports and finance. Danielle, could you go over that?
The Baldwin Public Library Board's Finance Committee met on Monday, July 8th at 4 o'clock in the DeLoss Boardroom. Present were Frank Paisano, myself, Director Kraft, and Associate Director Jacqueline Miller. We had no public comments. Kraft reported on the fiscal year 23-24 budget report after 12 months, and all line items are currently under the amended budget. We expect to receive state aid and penal fines in early August, and they'll be added to the fiscal year 23-24 budget. The final payment to PCI DLA for Phase 3 project will be made after the final punch list is completed. The architectural fees are higher than anticipated by $1,285 due to the additional design fees for the limestone panel near the front door. No additional contingencies are expected. Miller reported on June Friends of the Library expenditures, and the Friends authorized a donation in June of $17,650. Thank you to the Friends. Frank did not attend any city meetings, and our next meeting will be held on Monday, August 12th at 4 o'clock in the boardroom.
If I can just confirm, sometimes these things are printed ahead of time. No additional contingencies are expected. Is that holding?
Knock on wood. Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, and Frank, could you do the building committee?
Yes, on Monday, July 8th at 1:30, Director Kraft, Associate Director Miller, Missy, and myself met up in the Deloitte boardroom. There was no public comment at the time. There was a Phase 3 update. PCI Daily is working on the final punch list items. The book drop relocated to Bates Street on July 3rd. We did get the certificate of occupancy, and we did occupy the space on July 9th, which hopefully everybody's coming through the front door or the new entrance and enjoying the new space. Vending machines are installed and are working very well. We are planning a September 15th open house with a lot of things planned for that open house, which is exciting. We did have a mural update. Director Kraft heard back from Popco that the paint colors are finally working out, and she's aware that we want the installation sooner than later. So hopefully that's coming along really well. The staff lounge, the staff has purchased furniture, decor, and supplies for the lounge, and the refresh is nearly complete, and hopefully they're really happy with it. The gardens have come out great. Robert planted perennials from Wiegand's Nursery to spruce up the entrance using grant money from the Bloomfield Hills Garden Club, and we thank them for that contribution. DPS will repair the boxwood hedge on Martin Street in July from an incident that happened back in May. The window cleaning was completed on July 6th. And then on July 9th, we did have the installation of our first bird glass film, which you can see on the corner of the youth room, would be the southeast corner. And it's the bottom corner, and there's little white dots around to see how it goes. And we want to make sure that its durability is good with window cleaning and different weather temperatures to make sure it holds up because it's quite expensive to do the whole building. So that test will last about a year. BPS artwork featuring student artwork from each of our 4 communities has been hung along the perimeter of the youth room. So if you haven't seen it, it looks really nice. So I encourage everybody to take a look. We are waiting on the completion of the Phase 3 project and subsequent shelving relocation before we begin working with shelving and layout design to carve out a new teen scene in the Burkert's edition close to the 3 study rooms. So I'm excited for that. I know Elizabeth's probably working hard to get that ball rolling. Director Kraft is getting quotes for a mini split unit for the Idea Lab to balance the heat generated by the lab equipment. She will coordinate this project with the city's building department, and this project was budgeted for 2024-2025. We are awaiting installation of a new roof membrane over the youth room and loading dock reconstruction after Phase 3 is complete. These are both city managed projects, so we're very lucky that it's not coming out of our budget to fix that. So I'm sure Rebecca will let us know when that timeline comes where we'll see some construction there. The next building committee will be held on Monday, August 12th at 3 o'clock in the Deloitte boardroom.
Thank you. And then Outreach Committee, the next meeting of the Outreach Committee will take place on August 6th at 11 a.m. No report. Then the library report, Rebecca and Jacqueline.
Okay, I'm going to start with you on page 22. You can see the statistical dashboard there. This is the month where we give you the quarterly report on the statistics and our goals for the year. If we follow along on page 23, the financials, you'll get your final report later this year. But our circulation was looking really good. It's 7% higher than last year and 22% higher than our target. We did make the targets suitable for what we thought was going to be construction impact, but everything looks really good for the year. So our database sessions, our downloadable content, and our website page views were all on target and up. We're really excited that people are finding especially the new databases and resources that we're offering. So that's great. If people can use the library when and where they want, 24/7 outside the building, that's fantastic. Our downloadable content remains super popular, and so we're working on that always. We had to change our purchasing slightly this year, and we did join forces with libraries across the state to share our Libby resources when possible. Our website page views stay up. The website was the primary source for information about the renovation, so I'm thinking that's probably what drove a lot of extra traffic to that page to keep people apprised of what was happening. The number of people entering the library was up 7% from last year, so it's really exciting that they seemed undeterred by the construction, which was great news. And our program attendance increased. We were really pleased to welcome 31,339 guests to 918 programs this year. So, and if our summer popularity is any indicator, people are really receptive to the things our staff are planning. So that's fantastic. And our social media is staying steady and is a little bit higher across platforms than last year. Our staff members were able to create some video posts this year, which had excellent engagement. And when we did post our Phase 3 updates, people were really supportive and with their commentary. So we're excited about that. We will give you a strategic plan action item update in the August library report. I'm sorry it's not ready, but we were a little busy last week. So I hope you understand. We will give you a full report on the strategic plan next month. Moving along, we're excited to introduce the Best Bets collection, which went into its new home on, I'm sorry, I rushed right past that. Does anyone have any questions about the stats? Yes. Yeah.
So this is pretty amazing here. I just want to highlight that 220,000 versus a plan of 160, right? 60,000 more? That only equals, are you saying that equals 27? That seems high.
Well, 160 was our target for we were anticipating that foot traffic was going to slow down, and it did not. So, yeah.
Because that's unbelievable, isn't
Yeah.
it? And the database sessions, I know you've been pushing certain ones and really, marketing them a lot stronger. Is there one or two in particular that are really flying out the door?
I think our New York Times usage increased a lot this year. I'm sorry, I don't have that right. I don't, off the top of my head, can't think of any more. But we did add an additional resource where people can access newspapers and newsletters from around the world, and I think that is helping. That's called Press Reader, in case anyone wants to use it. It's great.
So you're saying if I wanted to read the Swedish
Yeah,
Svenska? Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
And there were a couple of vendors that actually changed the way that they were reporting their stats too, I think, for a more accurate reflection of individual uses of the resource instead of just unique users. So, and we don't count books as unique users, it's just a checkout. So I think that's a little more like apples to apples comparison with database sessions to print material. So yeah, it was a good year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just really impressed on the entrance and how many people coming in, because you thought that might be an obstacle for individuals, but it did not seem like there was an obstacle at all.
No.
So it worked out very, very well.
We're glad about that. Yeah. Okay, any other questions about stats? Okay. So on page 24, you can see a picture of the new Best Bets collection. The Adult Services Department debuted this collection on July 9th. As soon as we had our holds moved over to the new shelves, they popped these books onto these shelves and they're ready to go. This is a collection of titles that were curated by staff from across genres. So it's kind of a smaller collection of staff favorites. It's a great place if you're sort of overwhelmed by the number of bookshelves we have in the library and you're not really sure where to start. This is a great place. And we're hoping that people are going to find some new favorites among the titles that we're recommending. This is in the Grand Hall on the shelves between the Claudia Ireland room and the new study rooms.
Okay.
And a special thanks to the staff members listed here: Suzanne, Phoenix, Jessica, Julia, Dennis, Cameron, Brandon, Sheila, David, Lauren, and Grace for working on this project and getting these books ready to go. On page 25, you can see that our Books Unboxed and Books Unshelved subscriptions for June, which are always a big hit, but especially in the summertime, they both spiked in users, and they had to put the extra boxes on these carts to get them ready to go. We didn't even have enough room on the shelves, so that was great. And our thanks to the friends for their support of those included goodies in the boxes. We also debuted a new resource called Comics Plus. That went live on July 1st. This is a subscription service that offers patrons another avenue to borrow comic books without waiting. So if you're a comics fan, I encourage you to check it out. Elizabeth hosted her Taylor Swift party in mid-June. They sang karaoke, posed with a life-size Taylor Swift cutout, it made friendship bracelets, did tattoos. Elizabeth told me they were singing and also showing the concert, so there was a lot of music happening in this room, but they had a great time. It was loud, but it was fun. And on page 27, just to note, our freight elevator, which is located in the loading dock, had to have a switch replaced. Because of the design of that elevator, there is some exposure to the elements that affected some of the mechanicals. And so our thanks to John Gallick at City Maintenance for coordinating the replacement of that switch. So our elevator is working consistently.
I just wanted to ask you about the best bets.
Yeah.
Is that going to change like monthly, quarterly,
It won't be monthly. It's like 100 titles that took us
a long time?
they were pretty careful about what they chose and wanted to make sure that there was a really, diverse slate of offerings and things like that. So they will change, but I don't want to tell you a schedule. It'll, as we find new favorites, those will get added and books will come out and yeah.
Great,
So,
sounds great.
yeah. And on June 26th, Jamie Richards, the head of IT, worked with TLN to replace our firewall. So this will ensure better security and easier management of all of our computers. The installation went smoothly, and any downtime occurred before we opened for the day. And last is the IDEA task force continues to meet monthly. Our next snack chat meeting is tomorrow. Where we'll be talking about conversations about politics. And we just completed our last Woke Book Club, and we'll be reading Cemetery Boys for September.
And then going back to page 27, the Bird anti-collision film was installed on the 9th, and I'm going to be putting together a flyer, an informational sheet to go about that, to go with it, that will be laminated and placed in the garden below with a QR code, so people can scan the QR code, go to our website, share their feedback on the glass, and also know what we're doing with that test spot there. So we hope that will help educate some people and provide an answer. If they're looking, I wonder why the window looks like that. I did notice one thing with the installation is that it's crooked on one side. So I hope that if they do the full glass installation, that it will be level, because the dots, it's making me a little twitchy. So just so we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, so it
Yes.
costs $1,800. It costs $1,800 to install, and it's crooked.
So the quote was $1,800 because they were supposed to get scaffolding to install it, and it was supposed to be a larger area. They reduced the bill for that because they did not rent scaffolding, and it is a smaller area. So it's a lot less than $1,800 for that. Yes.
Okay.
So I pushed back on the invoice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How come they changed the space, just out of curiosity?
They were supposed to do one window from the top to the bottom, and the installer that was supposed to be doing it, his name is Shane Parks, just so you know. He was stuck in Grand Rapids doing a different project. So I think their wires got crossed. They sent out the vice president, and he installed it on his way to another project. So they had promised us to do it on Tuesday, and I think they were just trying to get it done before the end of the day on Tuesday.
Is it anticipated that birds would strike? I guess, Anne, you might know the answer to this. Would they strike low like that?
I don't think so. You can see the reflection of the trees in the glass, so they could potentially strike anywhere of it. But this was to make it visible to people walking by, and also to test it. I don't know if there's going to be salt that might be sprayed off from the street in the wintertime, so that we could see if it gets knocked off the window too. So
How tall is that?
It is a little bit taller than my head, so like 6.5. No, I'm gonna say 7 to 10 feet off the ground.
No, I mean, that panel, yes. How tall?
24 by 60, maybe.
So 2 feet tall?
Yeah, yeah. And then on page 29, our reference assistant Phoenix Nash, shown here with the book bike, which has recently been confused with an ice cream bike. We had a comment card that we received today saying, "We want you to get the ice cream up and running here." So I think they think that that's what we've got, because we have the book bike in the new cafe. Yes. So Phoenix went to Movies in the Park on June 7th, and she's going again on the 19th, taking information about the library and summer reading to share with attendees prior to the film. And let's see. The YMCA campers are back, and they visit the library 4 different times during each week, and they bring 30 to 40 campers. So they're hanging out in the youth room, having a good time. And then Michelle Hollow continues to work on marketing with Jacqueline for the library. And I continue to send out a welcome to Baldwin email to all new card holders each month. So it's exciting to add some new pictures of the new building to that going forward. We have an all-staff meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning for staff, and then we had our last one on June 25th, and we shared the meeting recording with all staff. And we have a new part-time teen services librarian and adult services, Haley May. Haley was formerly a reference assistant and then an adult services intern. She's graduating from library school in August. So she'll be starting, she started July 8th, and she is going to help Elizabeth with her programs. She's previously helped Elizabeth with Pizza and Pages, doing school visits to promote summer reading. She helps with our Teen Night Out program, organizes the Books on Shelves program, and provides great e-reader assistance on the desk. So we're happy to have her here on a part-time basis. And we had 105 volunteer hours in June, which is exciting. And I don't know if you are familiar with it, but we have our Baldwin Boosters program that runs for all of summer reading. So we have students aged 10 to 13 who volunteer to assist with all of our summer programs. So they help staff set up and clean up for the programs. And not a lot, some of our Baldwin Boosters turn into future pages.
Is that something they apply for? Is there an application?
There is an application. The application is basically what days are you available? And then they have a parent meeting with the parent and the kids, and then they get their work coordinated by Susan Dion in our youth department.
Is that only for summer?
It's only for summer. Yeah. Oh.
Hi, Thomas.
It's a little too late for this year, but
next year.
Next year, yes, definitely.
Thank you. Now, the next portion of the meeting is the Liaisons, report from Friends of the Baldwin Public Library by Rindy.
Evening, everybody. We have 2 months to go in our fiscal year. It ends August 31st. And in terms of our revenue, we are a little bit ahead of last year in terms of memberships and gifts, just slightly. Our book sales are down about $7,000 year to year, so we likely will not be making that up in 2 months. I'm very doubtful we'll make that up. We are doing really well in the lobby, and I think now that the new entrance is open, I think we'll do even better. We had a high month in December of over $1,400. We have had 2 months where we made almost $1,300, 1 month over $1,300. So it's consistently much above $1,000 a month in the lobby, which is great. it's the other sales, the pop-up sales, the spring and fall sales that are not performing as strongly. So we'll have to look at that next year and maybe come up with some different ideas. Perhaps not just selling books. Perhaps we'll look at some other types of fundraisers to help and make up that difference. We do have our fourth Saturday sale on the 27th of this month. It's going to be everything for $1, which people seem to like. It makes it really simple, and they feel like they're getting a really great deal. So I'm hoping we'll have a good turnout. And I think that's it.
What are the hours on the 27th?
It is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next is Beverly Hills, Andrew Drummond from Beverly Hills Village Council.
Hello, everyone. Project looks great, by the way. Like, walked in for the first time today for the meeting, and it came along really well. So, great job, everyone, on that. I don't really have anything to report from Beverly Hills. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And I don't see Susan McCarthy or Kathy Michigian. So next is Phase 3 renovation update by Rebecca.
Yes, the project is open to the public, which is so exciting. And now it will be like the last several months of trickle-in punch list items. You know, the last 5% always takes the longest, it seems. So the ramp is up on Martin Street still because they're going to need to close the front entrance for 1 to 2 days. They're hoping to keep it at 1 to add some epoxy to the joints in the floor in the cafe. So when the architect chooses the color for that, we'll have a date that we can close, and then it has to dry for 24 hours. They'll install it early, 5 or 6 a.m., and then we'll be able to open the next day. So keep an eye out for that. They'll take that ramp down on Martin once that's done. And let's see, I'm going to go through, I don't have the pictures to share online, but the cafe turned out great. And we do have some signs for over the vending machine area. We have had some people disappointed that it's not a true cafe, it's a vending cafe. So people were hoping that it was going to be a restaurant with servers in it. So they were disappointed. Some people were hoping they were baristas. So calling it a cafe is a little misleading. So we're just going to keep an eye on that name as we go forward. But Jeff in our Idea Lab did make a vending sign in tall letters to go on top of that circular alcove, so that will be an easier way to point people in the direction of the vending. As we look through pictures on page 39, they still have to power wash underneath the book drop, so that's coming. We installed the plaque, thanks to Robert for getting that designed and organized. And then it's hard to see in this picture, but there's the AIA award, the American Institute of Architects award that Lukenbach, Ziegelman, Gardner Design won for Phase 2. And the architects, MCD architects, will be applying for that same award for Phase 3. We are still waiting on the mural. I hope that I don't know how long it's going to take. Artists are on a different schedule than other people. So we hope it's coming along. She does really great work, so I think it'll be worth the wait for that to come in. So we have the cafe tables that are all in. They are used all the time, and it's nice to have people using those tables. One thing that I've noticed is we put out signs saying food and drink must be consumed in the cafe. So we're seeing more messes in the cafe, which is great because you can just mop it up or wipe it up and it's not disturbing our carpet. So I'm seeing people studying in the library, coming to the cafe, snacking, and then going back. So it's serving its purpose. And then people are meeting there too. The coffee vending machine is going well. We've had lots of people trying it out. It makes lots of custom drinks. We're working with our vending company for that, so that has been well received. And then the vending machine, people are enjoying that too. And, yes,
Do you mind, or do you want me to?
go ahead, yeah.
Two things about this picture here. One with the, how's the sound level?
The sound level in the cafe is pretty loud. Everything, it's all hard surfaces, chairs, tables, the floor and the wall. We are hoping that the canvas from the artwork will help deaden that sound a little bit. We have noticed that when people go in there, they are lowering their voices to talk, so they already know that they can hear it's pretty loud there. And they're talking so that other people don't hear them. But we're going to have to look for some sound solutions for that area.
Does it travel up, all the way up the stairs?
Yes, you can hear it up the stairs. So when you go in the room and snap, it's pretty wet. It's a wet noise. And yeah, so that's.
All right, that was, looking at it like this with the floor with no carpeting, and I was thinking it might be. Okay, and the other question is, what's the process or on the wall, on the nano wall, when will that be? Who decides? And
Staff are going to open it, and we are hoping for a Michigan temperate day, so sometime like 68 to 78 degrees. So this Thursday, the weather's looking pretty good for that. It's also, I won't share that information, but it would be a good day for the person who would like to open it that day. A momentous yearly day. And so we're going to try to open it on Thursday.
would plants help? No, I don't know.
Plants might help.
You know,
Yeah. And there's a ton of sun in there too. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
Would the architect have any solutions possibly with the design to
Yeah, we would
dampen
talk
the
to
sound
them.
a little
Yeah.
bit? Or
Yeah, because it's going to be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, the information desk staff have been adjusting to their new location. That's going well, and we're teaching everyone where the new interior drop box is and the new hold shelf is. So we've been walking a lot of people over to the new space, but they love their new desk, and they've been doing great adjusting to that. Our hot picks are back in a better location closer to the front. And our book sorting room is doing well. We're still tweaking everything, and it's kind of fun. The Access Services Department has about 30 staff members. So every time someone works in the department for the first time, they're like, what if we do this? And so it's kind of, we're getting into the groove of the best way to run things. So we do have an updated punch list from MCD Architects. So we'll be working on this. I think I shared a lot of this at the last meeting, so I'm going to skip over this punch list and go to the City of Birmingham Engineering Department punch list.
what page?
On page 63. So our contractor, PCI Daily, is working on addressing the items on this list, and then we have a meeting with PCI Daily and the engineering department on Friday to go over everything. They'll bring their concrete contractor too. So the first thing on page 64, the ADA, the bumpy inserts on the sidewalk, those need to be cleaned off. So they were power washed on Friday. On page 65, there's some color issues with the concrete that was installed, so we'll be working on that. 66, they have to clean the concrete slurry off the city light pole. 67, the concrete patch repair needs to be extended further out into the middle of the road because the contractor did not saw cut prior to removal, so they'll be addressing that. Page 68, that's a close-up of what needs to be repaired. Page 69, the curb needs to be repaired there. The concrete's a little off. On page 70 and 71, the sidewalk is not the correct percentage that it needs to slope for ADA compliance, so they have to address that. Page 72, they need to repair some of the city sidewalk that was damaged in construction. Same with page 73. And 74, they have to correct some issues with the concrete squares and on 75. And 76, same thing, 77. So there's lots of edges they need to clean up.
That's the city, right? Or
Our contractor, since they were working on the area and they damaged it in construction, they need to replace it to look like it was before construction started. So there's lots of examples of that. So if you walk around the outside of the library, you'll see all of the jagged concrete. Page 83 is the newer concrete color curb west of the entrance is cracked and needs to be repaired. So that will be taken care of. The sidewalk will be probably a patchwork of orange fencing while they repair that, but they'll be working on that. Any questions about the project? Yes.
I just was wondering, it's, number 2 says ADA truncated domes are the wrong type and they have concrete. Do those have to be replaced now, or?
Oh, yes, number 64. If you look around the city, there's like a red-orange ADA flooring that you see on sidewalks, and this looks like it's like a dark brown or black. So they need to change the color and clean off the concrete. So, yeah, lots to fix. Mhm.
Do they know not to work on that during September 15th?
They know, yes, they know about the open house, yeah. And if they do this after September 15th, I'm going to shed a little tear. So I hope it'll be done in the next few weeks, because the contractor doesn't get paid until they do it, so.
well, that's a good
They have a good
That's,
incentive.
that's motivation.
Yes, yes.
That's a good incentive.
So I will let you know, and we'll post it on our website when we know the day that the front entrance will be closed. Then after they take the ramp away, Great Oaks Landscaping will come in, replace the dead bushes, put the stone stairs back in, and fix the grass on the north side. Yeah.
Thank you. Next is new and miscellaneous business. And I have new business. So Claire Membila, library law consultant for the Library of Michigan, is offering to Michigan libraries a refresher presentation on trustee training. She offered to do a presentation by Zoom, or she could do it in person. Said she could do it as part of our meeting or separate. If she did it separately, it's something that would have to be publicly noticed if she does it apart from a monthly board meeting. So, is there any discussion on this idea?
I think I would prefer it be not in our meeting, that it would just be us as trustees going through it.
It would be a separate special meeting,
Separate
yeah.
special meeting.
but no library business.
No library business would be my preference.
I've taken one of Claire's courses before, and I find she's like a wealth of knowledge and a great instructor. So I would be very open to doing a refresher course with her.
I think she's great.
no Zoom versus, depends on what dates she's talking. Is it an hour?
That's what I would guess, because she's done the trustee training 101 and 102, and each of those is 1 hour.
Yeah.
So I would think if she's doing an overview, that it might take an hour. Plus, if we had any questions or discussions, it might take a little more.
So if we could know our options on when.
Okay.
And just to clarify, you all would have to be in person, and Claire would either come in person or she'd present on Zoom. So your preference probably is to have her in person, I would say. So yeah, I can, go ahead. I can check with you all for some dates, and then we can kind of find a date if that's something you're interested in doing.
And the public would be invited to
Yes.
go to that meeting. It just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said it would have to be publicly noticed,
Yep,
so
yep,
anybody
yep.
could attend.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can make a motion, or does anybody else want to make a motion? I make a motion? Okay, I move to have Claire Mambila do a presentation in person on a date that we can all agree on, and it would be publicly noticed.
I'll second.
It would be a separate meeting from our board meeting.
Didn't mean to step on you. I'll second.
Okay, you could take a vote.
Oh, okay. Should we do a roll call vote?
Wait, before we vote, do we need to see if there's public
Comment.
comments?
Oh, good point. Are there any public comments? And we've already had board comments. What do you think, roll call vote or?
Just a voice vote.
Okay. Everyone in favor of passing this motion, say aye.
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 And no unfinished business, and no items were removed from the consent agenda. The next regular meeting of the library board will take place on Monday, August 19th, 2024 at 7:30.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Let's have a voice vote. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And now if we could turn to page 116, and we'll begin the trust meeting. Okay. Hello, and welcome to the Baldwin Public Library Trust Meeting in the Rotary Donor Room on Monday, July 15th, which immediately followed the regular board meeting. Robert, would you please call roll call for tonight's meeting?
Karen Rock.
Here.
Danielle Rumpel.
Here.
Melissa Mark.
Here.
Wendy Friedman.
Here.
Frank Paisano.
Here.
Jennifer Wheeler.
Here.
And via Zoom, Student Representative Kate Walter.
Thank you. And the first order of business is the general public comment period. The library board values public meetings and welcomes your comments on library issues. The board respectfully asks that comments be made as concisely as possible. We welcome your comments, but will not debate items not on the agenda. The maximum time for individual speakers should not exceed 3 minutes. Are there any members of the public who would like to make a comment? Seeing none, we'll continue to the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and approved by a roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered as the last item under new business. First was the approval of the June 24th, 2024 minutes on page 117. Next was the acceptance of the June 2024 receipts of $26,001.49 on page 124. And third was the approval of the June 2024 disbursements of $238,606.54 on page 125. Does any member of the public want to remove an item? And does any member of the board want to remove an item? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
And Robert, could you do a roll call vote?
Rock.
Yes.
Rumpel.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Paisano.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yes.
All yeas.
Is there any new and miscellaneous business?
Usually at this meeting, I would go over performance, but I think we're going to have our consultant come in and discuss the current investment environment at our next, maybe finance committee meeting. So I'll give it an update after that,
Okay.
or maybe August or September, whenever, he's available to come in.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thank you. The next trust meeting will be held immediately following the next meeting of the Baldwin Public Library Board of Directors on Monday, August 19th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Let's have a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.